Good morning, afternoon, or good evening. I'm so excited for this panel conversation we have. First, welcome to the inaugural Black Women Creatives in Sports Summit. There is no shorter name for it because it's so hard to summarize like everybody's what everybody does, but everybody here has just been an amazing, just like force within their respective lanes. And I'm so excited for this conversation because like the other past conversations in this summit, it's more than just photography. This one particular will be about storytelling, ownership, community, and what it means to build something of your own in the world of sports. And today we're joined by three incredible creatives and storytellers who are each carving out their own lane in this industry, from grassroots athletics to major organizations, from community storytelling to large-scale platforms. They represent the range of what's possible when passion meets purpose. We have Khya, like the car. You see Khya? I told y'all remember. Khya Kimber, founder of Serene Lens Photography. His work is rooted in capturing athletes at every level with intention and care. Zoe D. Davis, a Chicago-based photographer and storyteller whose work spans sports, documentary, and major organizations like Getty Images and Major League Baseball. And last but not least, Chansey Augustine, a New Orleans-based photographer and founder of Channel 91 Photography, whose work is deeply embedded in community while also expanding into larger sports platforms. And we're going to talk about how y'all got here, how you built your careers, and how you've navigated this industry as a woman, as a Black woman, and what it really takes to sustain and grow in this space. So, first, to get to the beginning of everybody's journey, what about you, Chansey? How did it start for you? How did you get into sports photography and storytelling? But most importantly, what made you stay?
Uh, so first, um, COVID.
Wait, you
COVID
first
was the
started in
start.
COVID? Really?
COVID was the start of it for me. So I'm just give you a quick little story. A friend of mine, I was working for Amtrak. I was traveling back and forth on the train, and a friend of mine was like, "I'm selling my camera, man. I think you should really buy it." So I bought it, and I and to build my portfolio and also to give back to the community. Mind you, the world was shut down. So I started to do free graduation photo shoots. And one of the grads wanted to do a sports themed photo shoot. And I've always had a background in sports. I played basketball. My father, that was our close connection, bonding over sports. So that happened. We did the shoot. The shoots typically lasted from 30 to 45 minutes. That shoot lasted for about 2 hours. I fell in love with it. So ever since then, I have been shooting sports. Yeah.
That
And
is amazing.
that it ranges from high school to professional. So yeah.
And Kia, what about you?
For me, I bought my first camera right when I got out of college in 2017. It was like a display model, so I got it like for discount. It was like a Canon Rebel like T5. And I did my own maternity photo shoots with it. I just kind of did my daughter's 1 year photos with it. I did put it down for a while. And then I ended up buying another point and shoot that was kind of more of an upgrade. And I started to take photos of my daughter doing recreational basketball. And I was like, man, this is fun. Like, I love capturing these photos, but like, I need better quality. Like, I need like to step it up. So it just kind of grew from there. And I started shooting high school basketball. And then it like kind of really just fast forwarded to like now I've been to March Madness and I've done professional soccer. And now I'm just like, I'm on a full like roll right now, and that's just how I got started. So
Oh, that is so amazing. That's so beautiful. And I love how you photographed your own maternity shoot. That's amazing. Zoe, what about you?
Yeah, I got my start pretty early, like high school. I was on the swim team and I did not like how the swimmers had no photos of them. So I used to take my camera to meets and I would photograph like us, getting ready and things like that. And I was a yearbook photographer. I was editor in chief of the newspaper. So I
Yeah.
really like when I was young thought I was going to be a journalist. Like I thought I was going to be like on 60 Minutes, like some sort of behind the scenes like news production. But then I think really college and grad school made me kind of realize that like, no, photography is a path, and specifically sports photography. I feel like I was always under the impression that it wasn't like I didn't know how to make it serious or people wouldn't take me serious. Like I didn't really know like the possibilities of like specifically photography as a career, like sports photojournalism, like I like to call myself. But I went to grad school and that was really where I was like, no, I want to be a sports storyteller. Like I want to be a sports photographer. Like I want to shoot the marquee events and the big games, but I really want to tell a story behind my photos, follow teams like through their seasons and show just not just the on the court, in the pool, on the field kind of stories, but getting that intimacy that comes from the locker rooms and travel. That's just really what like I started my career really wanting to do, and thankfully I've been able to, have those opportunities.
That is so incredible. And so your first experience like within sports was swimming, is what?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. That is, I did not know that. What about you, Chansey? What was your first entry point into sports, particularly?
Football. It was my first high school game was Edna Carr, which is my alma mater, versus Warren Easton. Um, I still remember the day. I still remember shooting them prior to them getting on the field. I still remember it so distinctively. Um, and then I ventured off into basketball. Then now I'm shooting golf. So I never placed myself in a box. Never placed myself in a box. And like Zoe said, it's all about telling a story. Um, when you view my photos, I want you to be able to look at my photos and picture what possibly happened before this photo was taken. I want you to feel as though you can click on this photo and see what happened. Like that's how I want you to view my work. Uh Behind the scenes as well. I've done a lot of I'm going on. I'm sorry. I'm going beyond what you're asking me right now. I'm sorry.
No, no, you are good.
I do a lot of podcasts as well. I love photographing people in their elements, like kind of off camera. I'll say like behind the scenes. I've photographed all the Smoke podcasts, let's say Big Shacks. The big podcast with Shaq, Angel Reese's podcast, behind the scenes for all of those. And I just love the authenticity behind it, the storytelling.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And you, Kia, what was your?
My first was basketball, specifically women's basketball. I kind of really dove into the women's lane. So most of the time it's basketball, but I've been open to other sports, soccer, softball. And so I'm just kind of feeling it out. But basketball is like really my strong suit. But of course, like Chancey said, I don't put myself in a box, and I'm open to pretty much any sport that anybody wants photographed, but
Ooh.
majority women sports that I photographed, and yeah. I did UNC Charlotte women's. I've been to Charlotte FC game. Um, Down here it's volleyball. That's actually a client that I got from posting my photos. I kind of went into, she wanted, her mom reached out that she was in the area for travel volleyball and she wanted me to come take some photos. And so I delivered that for her. That was my first time doing volleyball actually. So it was very interesting. Um, Women's basketball recently just went to March Madness. Sadly, the Heels did not make it past UConn, but I was rooting for them the whole way. It was super fun to actually even be there. I was there under editorial work, which is what I've been kind of trying to push towards to kind of get those storytelling moments and also build my portfolio. It's been really fun. just being able to go to these higher events through publications. And yeah, it's been a journey. But a lot of times
No,
I
it's
have
so
just reached out through email.
no, these are so good. I was gonna say, you know, Chansey mentioned how she recalled like the first ever football game she photographed. Do you remember the first game you photographed, and what was it like when you first started in this sports scene? Like, what do you think was like that one thing that helped you build momentum early, Kia?
My first game was a high school women's game. I had reached out to the athletic director to kind of get the permission and everything. I was like really nervous. Even just sending the email, I'm like, I'm just putting myself out there. Like, I don't really have the strongest um like sports portfolio at the time because I was only like photographing my daughter. So like I didn't like I guess have the credibility. And they were like, sure. And every time before I shoot, my hands just get sweaty anyway. I get so nervous and my hands start sweating, my heart starts beating. And I think what helped me is just pre-planning. That helps kind of alleviate the anxiety. Having that shot list ready, like kind of already researching the team, knowing which players are most likely to have those action shots so that you're focused on them. It kind of helps keep you grounded, so that you're not just like all over the place. 'Cause I did kind of feel like that during my first game. But once you send that portfolio out and they're like, this is amazing, this is great, like come back anytime. Think that kind of helped boost to push me forward. Like, okay, I actually can do this. Like, I'm not an imposter. I can actually like go places with this, and that's what I plan on doing.
Yes. So I see you nodding
Can
your
I
head.
say
Oh, go
something?
ahead, Chansey. Yes, please.
So I'm the complete opposite from you, Kia. I don't like to pre-plan. So I do no research. Well, I know a lot about sports, so but I don't do any pre-planning. I don't check the team's roster because I feel like if, say for instance, if a star player is having an off game, so there's a chance for this player that's not so much of a star to have a good game. And if your focus is on that star player, you'll miss out on a chance to catch this guy who's up and coming star. So that's why I take that route. Like I'm of course I'm nervous before my shots, my shoots. I'm nervous before high school games, but I just take a deep breath, um, and I believe in my work and the work that I've put in. So, and also just listening to your instincts, because that's a big part of photography, your instincts, being in the right place at the right time. So I'll say that.
I love the different perspective. I mean, that's why I brought you guys all together because everybody has their own unique approach to it. Zoe, what about you? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think one of the big, like, best pieces of advice someone ever gave me about sports photography is knowing the sport. So I think it's helpful to, like, one of my favorite sports to shoot is actually lacrosse. Because I went to Northwestern for undergrad and then Syracuse for grad school. So it's like the two like really powerhouses in women's lacrosse specifically. So I remember my first game, I had no idea what was going on. I don't know what the rules are. And fun fact, this picture was taken. I've never gotten that shot ever again. Like ball in the net,
Yeah.
attacker up. I promise you, I did not know what was going on
Amazing.
in that game. So, but it's
I
it's
love
helpful
that.
to know like when the whistle like sounds, what does that whistle mean? Or
Yeah.
like for you to know how to be like in the right spot because they have for example, they have something that's called a free position that's kind of like a free throw, and you're like, okay, some players are really good at this. You're going to get a really good shot of the goalie, or some players are just buckets when it comes to that. So I feel like knowing the sport is taking less time of me being like, where's the ball? Because my first couple times shooting lacrosse, I was like, where's the ball? I have no idea what's going on.
Listen.
And now I can anticipate it a little bit more to the point where when I talk about lacrosse, people are like, "Oh my gosh, did you play?" And I'm like, "No, I just have studied the sport and I've watched it enough that I can kind of anticipate when those big moments are going to happen." But a lot of it is luck too. Like you can't get down on yourself too much for just like missing the shot or just like not being in the spot. Like, there's only one of you, and like if you're shooting, especially a field sport, there's only so much you can do if the touchdown
Right.
doesn't come to you or the goal or whatever. But you can place yourself in a smart spot that shows that you studied the game, you've prepared, you have watched the sport that you're playing to kind of know like, oh, this is what's gonna happen.
Right.
Now, Zoe, you have a very strong like documentary and long form like storytelling perspective.
Oh, Polly, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I
No,
was
it's okay.
asking, how did you develop your style?
Yeah, I think the biggest part of it was going to journalism school for both undergrad and grad school. I think the professors trying to make my work stand out to people who don't really care about sports was really important to me because my professors would not really care about the wins and losses. And I think that that was something too I realized like one times like when people take pictures of star players or even non-star players, like if you don't understand the context of that team or of that sport, you kind of don't care. Like it could be the, picture of LeBron just standing there, but if you don't really know who LeBron is, then all
Right.
you have is a picture of LeBron, which is cool that you had access and you were able to go to where LeBron was, but like that's not a story. So I think one of the things that I learned was just trying to make, when it comes to long form storytelling, like taking pictures that show things like team or community or sisterhood or brotherhood and things like that. Celebration. Like this image right here was like with the girls doing their hair was like that showed, to my professors that I had the access of the girls because I was able to be in their locker room. Like I had trust. I had kind of built my
Yes.
way into that situation to be able to get that. And that to them showed that had worked hard to kind of gain the trust of the people I was photographing to be able to be in that locker room space and kind of a vulnerable space, a vulnerable moment. And then it kind of
Mhm.
shows, to me, it shows girlhood. Like every girl that plays sports knows that there's a moment you're either
That's
putting
a
your hair
beautiful
up, you're doing something with that. It's community. We're all
Mhm.
doing the same kind of thing.
No, that was such a beautiful, beautiful frame, and framing as well. What is in your toolkit? What is in your gear bag?
Ooh. I shoot Nikon. Shout out Nikon. Been Nikon. I've been a Nikon girly since I don't even know high school. My D3100. So would love to be an ambassador someday. Shout out Nikon. But 7200 never comes off my lens. Most sports photographers would probably say a 7200 is in their bag. And then just when it comes to sports in general. I like to be, kind of prepared with, different sports. An 85 prime, for example, for basketball. If you haven't used it, you should try it. It's beautiful. There's nothing that beats a 400 28 when it comes to football. So those are some things that I really like to travel with and always have in my bag.
And I'm showcasing some of the stories here. Are these stories that you put yourself on assignment or for others?
This was my master's thesis. So most
Mm.
stories that I've done in terms of long form have been me kind of finding the story, finding the people and setting out to make it a long form story. Most assignment work has been like, hey, come shoot this game, which is great. Everyone loves a gamer and loves a game assignment. But most of the long form storytelling has been like, hey, I want to do this, like, what does that look like in terms of access, and then kind of building it as I go.
And you mentioned, building the trust of the people you photograph. What does that look like over time? And what advice would you have for others who are trying to, build the trust to be able to get access to these intimate moments?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is show up. I think athletes, it once one person like once you come like on game day, if you show up for game day, they expect that, especially with high profile sports like football, basketball, like there are lots of cameras around game day and they're used to that. I think to take it a step further is to show up at practice and be willing to kind of sit through some of the mundane or more boring moments. And then I think it's as easy as asking. I've done a lot of work at high school, so it's kind of, contacting athletic directors, coaches. In this case, for this story, it was me sending an email to the athletic director and saying, "Hey, this was in the middle of COVID, and trying to see what this football season would look like, playing during COVID." And it was as simple as being like, "Hey, I'm tested, I'm gonna get vaccinated. Like, what does it look like to be around?" And they basically were like, "Sure, come do whatever." And I did a lot of work with football, but a big part of my thesis was to spend time with the other sports. So went to swim meets, went to girls field hockey, went to girls lacrosse and girls basketball, and just really wanted to show a lot of that love to a lot of the sports that don't get that kind of attention and access, especially, women's sports, and just really being that person who's gonna be there with the camera and make them feel appreciated because their hard work, they're working just as hard as the boys. And honestly, sometimes in many cases harder. So really just showing them that they matter. And I think when you show that that's your intention, the athletes and the coaches, they really respect that, and then access really comes from there.
Oh, so many gems to take away. Kia, I'm going to turn to you and ask you the same thing. How did you develop your voice?
Um, I think I developed it mainly from looking at other specifically women photographers and just kind of putting my own spin on it. There are a lot of women photographers out there that I love and look up to daily. And when I started to develop my own style, or my own like spin on it, I just kind of I take what people say, like, and I I take it, but I don't always use it because I do also want to have my own style and I don't want to like copy anybody or anything like that. But yeah, just kind of like taking what I see and just putting my own little spin on it of what how I would like the or image to see, or if I were on the other side as the client, like how I think it would look good or how I think it should look good, not just like what somebody else thinks because they DM'd me and was like, hey, I think you should do more color grading, or I think you should have to do all of this stuff to the image to edit it just to make it look good. But really just like doing it on your own.
And what's in your
I want to say, I think you're asking what's in my gear bag. And I'm
yeah.
a Canon girl. I use the R6 Mark II and then the 7200 2.8, and I also have a Tamron 24 to 70 2.8 and a 50 nifty or a nifty 50. That's what my main lenses that I use. Occasionally I will use the like really bad telephoto, like everybody hates the 75 to 300, like if it's really like sunny outside during a softball game or something, I definitely will use that occasionally, but I say just work with what you got because I definitely started way down with the Rebel, and then I also have an R50 that I sometimes use as my second body until I'm able to like upgrade, but take it step by step.
No, we trust me. You're in a space that all of us understand and get it. Chansey, I'm going to turn to you and ask you the same thing. How did you develop your style? And what is your approach thinking about your evolution of like when you first started to now? How have you seen it evolve?
Um, so how I approach, how I came up with my style, I don't see myself as having a style. It's just if I find a photo to be beautiful, I go with it. I straighten it, I crop it, I go with it. It's not about like Kia said, it's not about what anyone else thinks. I have a team of photographers that I work with, and I tell them all the time, this is your eye, it's your eye, it's your art. Stick with that. Don't let anybody tell you how to color grade, how to like, don't do it. go with what you like, what you see, what you envision. And I'm not a big I don't do the AI stuff with the photoshopping and all that. I think that a photo speaks 1,000 words. I don't think you need to add anything to a photo. I think it takes away the authenticity from the photo. And as far as like the evolution, oh God. Oh God. It's funny that you said that because someone just messaged me about that the other day and said that I love your evolution. To go from where I was to now, I would say just me being authentic, like my work being authentic, the showing up authentic, being who I am. I think that has created a lot of space for me in this industry. Um, and has allowed me to form a lot of relationships that I do not take for granted. Relationships are very, very, very important. Aside from the business, relationships are the most important part of this. Um, so yeah, my evolution, um, God, man. God. That's the only person I can that's what I can give you. God.
No, I really respect that. What is in your gear bag? What do you use
um
to shoot?
Sony, shout out to Sony.
I love
um
it though because I love that everybody here uses a different brand. That's why I always ask
yes,
because
I'm
there's
a Sony
no
girl, but I
perfect.
also use Canon. I've used Canon in the past. That was the first Canon 90D was my first camera. So then I transferred over to Sony. I love mirrorless. I love mirrorless bodies. Sony, I have a Sony A1, a Sony A7 III. I have a Sony 70 to 200 f2.8. I have a 24 to 70 f2.8. I have a nifty 50. Um, I have an 85. Oh God, what else do I have? I think I have a 24. You can tell that's the ones I don't really use, but my favorite, hands down, is the 24 to 70. Not for sports though. Not for sports. I'm also the photographer to the mayor of New Orleans. So that's my go-to for her.
Let me pull up that real quick. Tell me about that transition and how did your work in sports help now with your approach to photographing in politics?
So it's pretty much, I won't say the same thing because it's not, but if you know my mayor, if you know Helena Moreno, she's like, go, 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 go. She does not stop. So I took that approach of like constantly working and being on top of things. And I took that from sports and just transitioned to politics, which I love. I've been with her since before she made the announcement of running for mayor. And now I'm a part of her administration as a photographer. And I love it. I thoroughly enjoyed just to meet all these different people and be in these different rooms. Um, it's an amazing opportunity. I still do my sports though. So working for the mayor, working with the mayor is like the entree. Sports, shooting sports in college and professional shooting NBA, NFL, high school is like kind of like the dessert now. Shooting sports is dessert.
I want to talk about the opportunity aspect real quick. How do you
Wait,
guys
what did you
go
say?
about choosing? I want to talk about the opportunity aspect for a second. How do
Okay.
you guys decide like which opportunities are right for you? How do you go about choosing the right opportunities? We'll start with
Start with
you. Start with you.
I'll start with me. Okay. um, so choosing the right opportunity. I'm the type of person, I'm a workhorse. So I'll take everything. I take everything. I don't turn down anything. If I'm able to do it, I will not turn it down. I don't care if it's high school. I don't care if it's college. I don't care what it is. Um, I'm a true believer in. So once I think about long term. Like for instance, okay, this is off subject. Okay, off topic, but I went to the Iverson Classic a couple years ago, and I shot the Iverson Classic for free. This was an unpaid opportunity. Long story short, I ended up becoming the lead photographer for the Iverson Classic, getting paid, and also creating a relationship with Showtime Basketball, which is how I was able to shoot All the Smoke for 3 years behind the scenes. Um, so I feel like every opportunity you take opens up a door for another opportunity. Every single one. It does not matter if it's small, if it's large, if it's whatever. It opens up. You will meet somebody in that room that will say, "Hey, I like what you're doing there. Let's work together again on something." Every opportunity that I have received has opened up another door for me. Every single one.
Along those same lines, how has your city shaped your opportunities? Because, like I mentioned to you all before we got on, I feel like creatives feel so much pressure to move to larger markets, to move
Yeah.
to the New Yorks, the LAs. But that's why I specifically asked you all to be here because you are in New Orleans, another one's in Charlotte, another one in Chicago. So how do you feel like it's compared, like, to be in your city and to make the best out of your city, make the best out of, the opportunities you can in your city? Why don't you continue to?
Um, I battle with this often. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I battle with this probably once a month. If I was somewhere else, if I was somewhere else. But guess what? I love my city. And I feel like if I am in the right position in life, if I'm supposed to be where I'm supposed to be at, I feel like God will make a way for me. As long as I keep putting in the work, I don't care where I am, I'm going to work. Like me building these relationships in these different cities, because I travel a lot too. I haven't traveled that much this year, but I travel. I do a lot of traveling, and like I said, I went into these rooms, built relationships, and when those folks come down here, they call me. Or when someone reaches out to them and say, "Hey, I'm going to New Orleans. I need a photographer." They speak my name. So all of that, your name holds weight. So it doesn't really matter which city you're in. Put in the work, and I promise you, it will it will pay off.
Yeah. How about you? What's it like for you in Charlotte? How has your city shaped your opportunities? And
I heard shape your opportunities, and what did you say after that?
I'm so sorry. And then choosing the right opportunities.
Okay. Yeah, so choosing the right opportunities is definitely critical for me. I work a full-time corporate job and I'm also a mom. So, um, when it comes to like choosing which opportunities that I'm going to take for free, um like just really come down to like right now I'm shooting under a publication, but they're very small. So they're not able to offer pay. However, I still chose to move forward with them because I still see an opportunity there to elevate women's sports, which is, what I want to do anyway. So, I feel like those are, you know, free opportunities and free clients aren't the same thing. So, if you take an opportunity that's going to lead to clients, which is what led to me getting those clients for volleyball, and I've did the cheerleading for those clients, and I've gotten pretty like a lot of inquiries. It brings in traffic. So just making sure that like it's a mutual beneficial thing. Like you're not just running yourself ragged, and you're like actually handling it in a way that you're not burning yourself out, I think is how you can determine, if the opportunity is right for you, is it going to lead me more clients, or am I going to feel burnt out after taking this opportunity because I've already taken so many? But it really just depends on the person. But that's how I kind of determine which opportunities that I take. And me having also a full-time job and doing this part-time, I I try to space it out, and again, I have pre-planned like everything. Like I'm telling, the publication, this is what my open schedule is. These are the open weekends or weekdays I can be available for a game, and kind of like just go from there. And that's how I kind of keep it balanced and making sure that I'm seeking opportunities that are going to be beneficial on both sides to make it worth it.
So many good things to take away from that. How about you, Zoe?
Yeah, I really like how you put that about like the difference between like free like work and then free opportunities because I'm at kind of the place where I don't if someone were to approach me and say like, "Hey, I want like free photos, you get exposure." Like exposure does not pay the bills. Exposure does not buy cameras and gear and like I've been kind of sort of full-time freelance the past like 8 months. So I do have a job that kind of keeps the lights on and everything, but no, it's not like stuff is expensive. Like camera maintenance is expensive and your time is expensive. And like you have to value your time. And I'm like, I am a professional sports photographer, so like I don't want to take jobs that are not going to be beneficial to me in the long run, either teaching me something or things like that. But I think one thing that I have learned is a lot of the like storytelling things where I've gone to seek someone out, you can't necessarily always seek someone out and then expect them to pay exactly what you think because, you're the one kind of coming to them with an idea. But one of the clients I've been working for is the Women's National Football Conference, which is women's tackle football. And I approached them about working with them, kind of not with the expectation of getting paid. And it has led to, both paid and personal work. So I think that like if you have an idea, don't be afraid to reach out and things like that. I think another like funny example I always tell like with my work with Getty, sometimes when they send you, you kind of get sent on like spec basically, where it's like you take photos and then if people buy them, you get a cut of royalties. And the one NBA game I ever did, there's a photo that's now on a Nike shirt, and that was kind of like insane to like think like I kind of went into this very like I'm shooting an NBA game. I have this opportunity. I don't know what's going to come from this, but this is for me as a student of the game, as a student of sports photography to go and make the most of it. So when I got that little notification like Nike Global, I was like, wait a minute, what? So it's, you never know like what things happen. And that was like super exciting. And like that's like one of the like proud moments of my, recent career and things like that. But yeah, I think the biggest advice I would give in terms of that is just like you have to know your worth and you're the person who's going to set your worth. Like Lightroom is not free. Cameras are not free. SD cards are not free. Hard drives, not free. So all these things on top of what you need to be a person and sustain your life and things like that are just not free. So um being of that mindset, like when you're young and you're trying to build your portfolio, yeah, take those assignments, but you get to a certain place where you can't necessarily like anyone will take free photos. So you have to kind of draw the line at a certain point and then but on the flip side, still be willing to grow your portfolio and grow and, maybe put yourself out of your comfort zone.
Ooh, there's so much I want to unpack right there. First, I want to continue pulling on the thread of just like opportunity, and turning like one opportunity into repeat work and consistent client work, whether it's brands, athletes, community. Kia, what about you? How do you approach turning one opportunity into repeat work?
For example, when I reached out to UNC Charlotte to cover their women's basketball team, I kind of positioned it because that is my alma mater. So I'm like, I'm an alumni. I want to come, just shoot. I'm just, building my portfolio and I just want to support the program. And they're like, yes. So, I was able to get the full season credential from there. And then after I kind of like delivered a few galleries, I'm like, hey, like, I really would love to do this like permanently. Like, is there, any room for that, like any room in the budget, for any even if it's part-time, just to like support any of the women athletics at the school. Um, but it is hard to get sometimes to get those repeat clients, but it is always just important to follow up and put yourself out there because you just never know. Um, they were, usually they're using their student photographers, but he did, was like, we could put you on the list for, if, sometimes we do contract photographers out. So like even just putting yourself like asking after you've like delivered or took an opportunity, definitely just when you're delivering those photos, just plug yourself in there as being available because if you don't ask for the money, they're not going to give it to you. But
Mhm.
just posting on social media too is also that's led me the most clients. So yeah, just keep posting as well.
Listen, if that ain't the truth, you don't ask, they will not give it to you. That is the truth. Chansey, for you, speaking of just like the same kind of thread when we're talking about business and money and just the realities of it all, what is your I guess, how do you advocate for your worth and how have you managed, pricing your work early on, especially when you're working across, whether it's community versus, an organization, an institution versus politics versus, podcast, how do you price your work?
So in the beginning, the first I've been shooting for about 6 years now. In the beginning, probably like the first year and a half, I shot for free, completely for free to build my portfolio, just to add to my portfolio. Pricing now, it has definitely it's definitely up there. And I would say, like Zoe said, know your worth. Um, Look at the clients that you've worked with. I pretty much base it off of that. Your clientele speaks volumes. I can't do free work for you when I'm shooting for the mayor. I'm sorry, I cannot. That doesn't make any sense. I can't do free work for you if I'm shooting for a person that's a millionaire in the NBA and NFL. That doesn't make sense. So know your worth. That's all I can pretty much say. Know your work and know your work and know your worth. I'll say that.
So, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I love that you said that because yeah, I think there it's hard because sometimes yeah people are operating on budgets. I think just accepting that it's okay, like I feel like when I'm reaching out to people and they'll be like, oh, we don't have it in the budget, like sorry, like take those no's. But I've also had people turn around and be like, actually we did find some money. So like as a freelancer, so many jobs have come from me. Like anytime a team comes into the Chicago area, like college, I will send an email, be like, hi, photographer in the area, do you need photos? And a lot of times those get, either ignored or sometimes people will be like, oh, love your work, but no, sorry, we don't have it. But you never know. They may come back, they may refer you. Like just putting yourself on people's mind is such a good way to get hired. I think pretty much almost all of my clients have come from me reaching out a lot of times. And then they turn into people reaching out to you. I think the other big thing is just like building a community of photographers, like specifically sports, like in your city, so that like if someone reaches out to you, you were already booked, but you're like, oh, put my girl on, put my guy on. Like people will remember that, and then in turn, that helps you get work. Like I've gotten jobs from people being like, hey, I'm already busy today, but like, would you happen to be free to shoot this tournament? It's like, you know what? Actually, I am. And then you pay it forward. Like you send those people jobs that you can't do. So I think that just, being a good person, like it's not sometimes it's like it's looked at as like competition among other photographers, and it is to a degree, but like there is enough work that everyone can eat. Like there is
Enough room at
not
the table for everybody to eat. I'm sorry.
there is, and there's so much work out there, and I think it's hard if you don't see it to believe that. And I think I've hit so many moments in freelancing where I'm like, honestly, there is like the spreadsheet is looking empty. Like I've had no work this month. Like I've sent out emails, it's just crickets, but like there is work out there. So like whether it takes hustling to find it, building your network, looking to like that's why I love like y'all are shooting things outside of sports because shooting outside of sports only grows you as a photographer and like introduce you to more people and things like that. And like, again, you never know. But so many jobs have come from stuff that I've pitched. Like I'll look and see like what's somebody else not gonna shoot. Everybody wants to shoot the Bulls. Everybody wants to shoot the Bears. But like who is out there shooting like the Chicago's getting a like Harlem Globetrotters, Savannah Bananas type baseball team? Who's shooting that? So you go to where the job like, and it's like that will get you jobs. People will hire you regardless of whether you're shooting youth, high school, college, pro. Like if your work is good, your work is good. So like go if you feel like you're knocking on doors and nobody's opening them, take a step back and be like, what am I not shooting? Is there rugby? Is there golf? Is there swimming? Is there something that people are not
Yeah.
lined up to shoot? Because chances are somebody will hire you to shoot that.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Can I double back off that?
yes, yes, go ahead.
So I created a team of photographers and videographers here in the city. It's C91 Media. Y'all can follow it on Instagram, by the way. I started it not in last year during Super Bowl, when Super Bowl was here in New Orleans, and I had people everywhere because I couldn't do it myself. So, like Zoe just said, put other people on. There's nothing wrong with putting people on. There's nothing wrong with giving people advice or dropping gems. It's not gonna take any food from off your plate because what God has for you, God has for you. No one can take that away from you. So I truly believe in that. So I really appreciate you saying that, Zoe. That was that's some gems.
Um, I cannot believe we're almost out of time. So I want to like do some rapid fire questions for you guys, along the same lines of just like what we've been talking about. But what are the small things that matter professionally? I mean, like Zoe, you mentioned you pitch yourself. Okay, what is a way to do it in a way that, because I've seen some unprofessional DMs and pitches in my inbox. So what to you all, what are the small things that you think, okay, this is what helps me stand out that matter professionally in this industry, especially because it is such a small world. At some point, you're gonna, run into that person again. Khya, what about you? Go first.
Um, I think it's just important. For me, I just try not to make it too lengthy. I just want to kind of tell them where I'm at, tell them what I want to do. Put my portfolio link there. I feel like some don'ts are just to ask for like maybe like if you're messaging for a credential for a whole season, like I wouldn't like do anything like that. Maybe start with just like one game, and kind of go from there, especially if you're a beginner. Like for me, like I'm very, very, I would say beginner in sports, not be like beginner in photography, but like beginner in sports. So like a lot of emails that I did do in the beginning, I felt like were too long, or like I was asking for a full season credential, but like didn't really have like the portfolio to back it. And it's kind of like maybe I should have dialed it back a little bit. But I feel like as long as you're like pretty short and sweet, look for forms before you send an email. A lot of schools do have like the credential forms instead of like an email. And then, you'll get a lot of silence, but just keep going, and follow up because I've sent out credential emails, heard nothing for a month, doubled back, and then got a response. So I say just, you know, don't be too buggy, but like it's okay to follow up at least once if you don't hear anything. And, if you need to use AI to like help you formulate a template email at least, and just make sure you edit it to like your liking, if you just can't think of like an email.
Chansey, do you have anything to add to that?
I was about to write something down and show it on the camera.
I love
um,
that. Go ahead.
I just have one word for you. Persistence. I am a very persistent person. I'm just gonna give you two examples. One example was WWE. I freelance for WWE. I work with them. I grew up watching wrestling. Now my bosses are like the people that I grew up watching. I reached out. I am a researcher also. Research, find out who's over what. I do a lot of that at night. So I found the VP of photography for WWE on Instagram. I reached out to him. He never responded. 6 months later, he responded to me, and he invited me out to WWE Raw in New Orleans, and I've been shooting with him ever since. Um, while they invited me out to SummerSlam, I went to SummerSlam. They didn't have a photographer one night because she had got delayed by weather. She was delayed by weather. So I had to fill in for her, which was on hard camera, which is like that camera. I don't know if you guys watch wrestling, but it's the camera that they look into on TV and they show their title. It's like it's straight on. That was me. And that is something that you work up towards. And this is probably like my second or third show. But um but he followed. I said all that to say this. He followed up with me, and this is what he said: "Still hustling, huh, kid?" So he acknowledged the fact that he knew I was after it. I wanted it that bad. So just be persistent. Like even the Showtime gig. Uh this guy's name is Brian Daly, and I love B. I call him B Dot. That's my guy. He helped open a lot of doors in my life. Um, I I chased after him for months until he finally gave me an opportunity. And when he gave me the opportunity, I took it and ran with it. And it opened doors for other opportunities. So just be persistent. Like I said earlier, know your work and know your worth. Stand by your work. Um, don't be afraid to get better also. Like there's always room to improve. Um, but yeah, that's all I got. Persistence.
No, thank you. Zoe, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I love what you guys said about like be persistent, like be give like, a concise like ask. I almost want to take this in like a separate way of what your question was asking about just like professionalism. And I think that's one thing that really stands out in like the photo world, especially the sports photo world, especially the higher up you get is so small. So it's like things that you just have like you have to be a professional. Like I get like so like ugh, it's like so like cringe when you see people who it's like you can tell they're a fan with the camera, or it's like they're just in it for the clout, and it's like everybody's got to start somewhere, like everybody's got to grow and mature, but it's like if you really want to do this and you want to do this for real and you want those bigger and bigger opportunities, there are just some things you cannot do. Like you cannot post pictures of your credential no matter how cool it is. That is a big no-no. Like you cannot, like I was working a high school basketball game and these photographers ran onto the court. The buzzer hadn't sounded, but the team, it was like point 0.1 second left and the team was celebrating. All these photographers just ran on the court, and the woman from the newspaper and I just looked at each other and just shook our heads because you don't do that. Like if that happened at a Bulls game, you were getting thrown out. Like credential ripped up, no more opportunities. So I think, even when you're at those quote unquote lower levels, like treat it as a like you're at the higher levels because that's the only way that people are going to respect you and like see you as a professional. Do not cheer when you have the camera. Like I don't care if you like the team, you want to see them win.
Mm.
Like everybody works for teams that like they're fans of. Like I freelanced for the White Sox, freelance for Getty, and like I'm a diehard White Sox fan. You don't cheer with the camera. Like there's just certain things that, and especially on like the long form stories, like working with the women's tackle football team, like I like them. I care about them a lot as people. I want to see them win. There's still just a level of professionalism that you need to have when you're shooting. Like you're not trash talking the other players while you have a camera in your hand. Like you are not on the team, you are not on the bench. Like, and I'm like, I say these because I've seen these things, and it's just like it hits me like, oh, please don't do that. Because it does look bad. And then those are just certain things that like you will get side eye after side eye if you try to do that in a professional situation. And it's not worth it. And I think like it's one of those things, it's hard enough to get to where we are, looking how we do. And you just want to carry yourself with the utmost like pride and respect for the craft that you're putting. Because again, if you have a credential, you're meant to be there. So like treat it as like an honor. Again, whether it's high school or pro, like, be professional, be respectful to everybody else. Don't, talk bad about other photographers to other photographers because those kind of things just go around. So there's just it's such a small community. So that's probably one of the biggest things.
And can I double back off what Zoe just said? Athletes don't like that either. They do not like, they like to be treated like normal people. They honestly do. So they don't like all that like, no, I can tell you personally, they don't like that. They don't enjoy it. But to like what you just said, when I worked for WWE my first day, my boss actually told me to take it all in first. He told me take a deep breath, let it out, because you're going to be working with a lot of people that you looked up to. So when I'm around them, it's like it's gone. Like that, those emotions, though, that feeling of being a kid watching Triple H on TV, that's my boss now. His name is Paul. Like, let it go. Let it go. And you have to. Like you have in order to grow in this business, you have to let that go. You have to set the personal aside from the business. You have to. Because trust me, I didn't been at a lot of Saints games and I'm pissed. And I want to go off. But guess what I'm shooting for? I'm shooting on behalf of Carolina Panthers. So I'm like, gotta set it aside. It's business.
No, you guys are preaching. And it might sound so like simple, but and like, why are they saying these things? No, but it's because like what Zoe said, because we've seen this in real life. And even though a lot of these things are like unspoken, unwritten rules, like there's no guide you're gonna get, that pamphlet that says don't post your credentials. Like there's nothing that you may get that says that written, but these are a lot of like unspoken rules that you just know by just being in this space and getting maybe those weird side eyes. But that's why we hold these kind of conversations, so you can avoid these kind of mistakes, and that way hopefully you don't get any side eyes. Oh my goodness.
Can I add something to that just
Yeah,
really
yeah,
quickly?
go ahead, please.
The biggest thing is like mentorship. Like you should like I think so many, especially like young, I'm talking like high school early photographers, like they love the clout, they love Instagram, they love how many followers, how many likes and all that. Like it does feel good when you get that, when you get those DMs being like your work is fire, but like chase mentorship. Like you need someone to sit because that's how the only way you're gonna know those unspoken rules. Like I have a photographer like from Getty that will call me before I do a new assignment and he'll be like, walk me through the venue. Do you have any questions? And then he'll look at my work and be like, hey, I like that. Or like, hey, we got to work on your cropping. We got to get, let's work on this, toning and things like that. Or this editor's really particular about this and that. So like let's really just kind of work on that. And I think having that mentorship, like having somebody who's in my corner who like wants to see me be the best sports photographer I can be, who knows I'm new to certain, pro venues and things like that. So like don't view like Instagram likes and views as being like I made it. Like always chase mentorship and follow the people who are where you want to be. So don't just be like, oh, I'm like, I'm a good photographer, blah blah. Like hype yourself up, like enjoy that kind of stuff because it's, imposter syndrome is real and we don't want that. But also find the people who are the pros and the people who you're like, that's what I want my work to look like in 5 years. And then a lot of times those people are more accessible than you might think and are really, really welcome to, mentoring and taking younger photographers under their wing.
So true. And listen, on the flip side, like if you're not getting the likes and followers, also don't pay attention to that. That does not matter at all. One of our speakers, Zoe Davis, she's based in New York and Connecticut. I don't know. I think maybe she has like a few thousand followers. I don't know, but that doesn't matter because Nike saw her work when we posted on Instagram and they flew her out to Paris to photograph something like a campaign. Like it doesn't matter because what at the end of the day, what matters is like all the advice you're getting here from these speakers, that you just need to show up and do your best work and be consistent and stay professional because it is such a small industry. At some point, you will cross paths with somebody who knows somebody that knows somebody that knows you, and your name will always speak for itself before you enter the room. And I cannot believe we're almost at time. We're actually at time. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to ask you guys one final question. I told you it goes by so quickly. If someone is here listening to this conversation and they are sitting on a dream, what should they remember? Khya.
They should remember that you are meant to be there. You may get to an assignment or a game and you may be the only woman photographer, or you might be the only black woman photographer. And it may feel intimidating, but keep showing up, keep going, keep reaching, keep crafting, you know, just keep doing what makes you happy. And, as long as you're still happy doing it, then it's worthwhile and just keep going.
And Zoe.
Yeah, go make the work you want to get paid for. Like, don't wait for someone to hire you to make the work that you want to do. Like, if you want to photograph basketball. Like, don't wait. The NBA may not necessarily have your number on speed dial yet, but you never know. But always go out and do the stories that you want to do, and that speaks for itself, and that shows, initiative, and it shows commitment, and it shows the ability to tell a story no matter how bright the lights are. Like, taking pictures in like dark high school gyms, like you can like if you can do that, you can shoot in an NBA arena. So it's very much like that skill is transferable. So don't wait always necessarily to get hired. If you have a dream, go for it.
And last but not least, Chansey.
Um, Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. That's all I can say. Shoot your shot. I'm assuming there's a lot of females, and probably all females in this room. um it's hard for us out here. It really, really, it truly is. Like walking into a room, as Khya said, being the only female, the only Black female. I've walked in a lot of those rooms, but you belong there. Like queens shoot too. That's my slogan. That's been my slogan for a couple years now. Queens shoot. As I actually have it tatted on my arm. Queens shoot too. Um, you're one of one. Like nobody will have your shot. It's your shot. So take it. That's what I got.
Man, thank you all for such a beautiful, honest hour of conversation. Thank you for your artistry, what you guys do in your respective communities, and the way you show up and you're showing others how possible it is to do this work, to do it on your own terms. And I'm just so excited to continue following you guys online and hopefully meet you all in real life at one day. But I'm so, grateful and inspired by all of you guys. As Lexi LC here says, the conversations are so good, an hour is just too short. I only do it an hour because I want y'all to go and follow them and look out for more because they can't give you all the juice. It's like I can't let them share all the juice. You have to go follow them and see their work and reach out and support them. And also, it's like, how do you sum up somebody's work in 1 hour or 2 hours? When they're putting years and decades into this, you just can't. It's so hard, but thank you all so much. Is there anything you all would like to share before we go that we haven't
Instagram at
touched on already?
Channel 91
Go
Photography.
ahead.
That's it.
Yes, follow, and support. Zoe, Khya, anything else you'd like to share?
Thank you, Polly. I was like, wow, I don't know that many other Black women sports photographers in person. So I was like, how is she gonna fill a weekend full of them? So
No,
I
the way
love
I was
this.
telling, who was I telling it to Elsie? Who was I telling? It was like, or maybe it was Ali. I was like, oh my God, it's like I actually had to like stop myself because I have a whole list. I have like over like 50 names that I wanted to speak to.
Oh.
And I was like, this is insane. You gotta like breathe and sleep and whatever. So I think I stopped at 20 names, and it's so hard because
You can do it
there's
again.
so
Do it
many.
again next weekend.
Yeah, come on,
Oh,
right.
Keep it
Tomorrow.
rolling.
What
Man,
y'all
you
doing
should have did it.
tomorrow?
You could have did it the whole month. It's Women's Month. Whole month.
Period. April is Black Women's History Month. Let's go.
listen, y'all are so funny. We'll be doing this again next year.
We
'Cause
should
I'm
do
gonna
it. We
need a
should do a
new
conference.
y'all. I got a day job. I can't. Go ahead, Khya. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that. I gotta say job too, but that would be awesome. But um, I don't have any. Thank you, Polly, for reaching out. I was like really surprised. Like, oh, okay. Well,
Me.
thank you. Like, come on, me? Sure. But yeah, I'm glad to be able to provide that beginner perspective among like people who are very veteran in the sports realm. So I'm happy to contribute, and y'all can follow me at Serene Lens Photo, and I'm gonna follow everyone else as well because I love following the journey. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
No,
Polly.
no, because I gotta say one more thing. I've been yapping all day, but I gotta yap one more second. The thing is, I think the beauty of these things, of these conversations, these spaces, and why, again, that I'm crazy enough to have like 20 people speak in one weekend, but it's because I want to show all stages of the career, of the journey, of the path, right? Like we all started somewhere, and every time somebody's like, "Wait, me? I'm like, yes, yes, you. There is a reason why I'm asking you, right? Because it's like there's beauty in your journey at every stage of the journey. Um, there really is. I mean, Elsie was one of our past speakers who I just spoke to, and I pulled up one of her YouTube videos of her because she does like these vlogs and documents her journey and archives it in real time. And I played a clip of that video, and it was like she did a recap video of her first time photographing a women's rugby match, and it was like a video from like 4 months ago, and she got like all shy and embarrassed, and I'm sure she's all shy and embarrassed now about me talking about it right now, once listening in the but I put it up because it's just so beautiful to witness that, because I remember when years ago when she was talking about how she really just wants to photograph a rugby game. And now she's doing it so often. Now that even the institution itself, US Rugby, England Rugby, are spotlighting her, are showcasing her work, doing features and interviewing her about her journey. And it's like, you got to take a second and remember, like, oh, there was a time that you just wanted to actually like get into the arena to shoot a game, to even know how to shoot a photo that isn't blurry, right? Like,
Right.
like there was a time that concept of like a photo in focus was so like something that we couldn't grasp, and now here we are, and we're doing it, and we're getting paid to do it, and we're doing it at whatever, however we're feeling at any given day, how hard it may be to show up, but we are here and we're showing up, and believe it or not, Khya, Chansey, Zoe, you are inspiring others in your cities, outside of your city, to keep showing up and doing it for themselves as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you for making the time, especially on a Sunday when I know you have a day job and all the other things going on in your personal lives. So thank you. Truly, this has been such a wonderful time. And again, I'm excited to continue to follow your works. And hopefully one day conference, but also meet in real life or whatever. But especially Chansey, because those beignets in New Orleans, girl,
But come on down.
girl. I gain 10 pounds every time I go to your city. No, but in all seriousness, thank you guys. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Thank you. See y'all later.